Hello and welcome to the team building video against Swagtips. Today we have the first day of the draft league, the YouTuber draft league, which you already had the trailer like nearly a week ago already. And today gonna be the first match. We're currently like 1 p.m. my time. The match gonna drop 4 hours later, and this is what I'm gonna do every time we have like a match. I'm gonna post 4 hours before this team analysis like for the opponent, like what I'm most likely gonna bring. Not gonna show my teams immediately yet. This is something that I'm gonna decide during the battles, because the battles I do live. So like you see my actual reaction, my actual thought process there as well. But here we're gonna take a look like what my opponent can bring, what my opponent has in general, like in their teams, and what I have for a team. And today we're gonna take a look a little bit. Today gonna be a little bit longer because I'm kind of explaining the draft league as well a little bit. Like we have 2 different groups where we play against like basically all of them. For example, for me, next week I would play against Daniel Zaneri, which is also one of my good buddies from the YouTube community. Then we also have casual co-ops in our group, and we also have Chinzula in our group. I think that's gonna be it. Like we have 5 per group. This means there's a 1 bye week. My bye week is gonna be week 3. And then there's like the other group with Purple Kyoga, the Tactical, Road to the oldie, Pokedexy, then Ottawa, and all those people there. So like, we have 2 different groups there. I'm only gonna battle against those 4, and the top 2 gonna go advance to the semi-finals and finals. So my goal is at least to get to rank 2 of my group, which I think should be pretty okay-ish. I think my skill level should be good enough for that, I hope at least. But yeah, how did it all went? Like, how did the draft go? You see here in our draft teams, like if you see it from the other people, I'm not gonna like spoiler all the teams from the other people, they can do this in their videos. If we saw this like this, we see not a lot of super meta picks, because our first round for the picks were a ban round. So Swampert, Mayhem, Bastion, Azumarill, Walrein, Registeel, Lickitung, Sableye, Galarian, Stunfisk, and Altaria are all banned from this cup. And we're gonna take a look real quick at my team, which I have here, and why I picked this and how I picked this. My first pick was Umbreon. Like if you look at the picks that basically are not available anymore, like Swampert, Mayhem, whatever. Like against Mayhem, Umbreon would lose. Against Azumarill, Umbreon would lose. Against a lot of things, Umbreon wouldn't really have the best matchup. So I was picking this thing as my first thing because it's a very neutral Pokemon. And the cool thing about draft leagues is you can also have like access to the other moves. Like you can choose which moves that you want to play every time before. And Umbreon has access to Foul Play or the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse sometimes has also some more play, and also has Psychic or Last Resort. And Psychic gonna have a lot of play against some opponents already, which I know. And that's gonna be exciting. My second pick was then Cresselia, a Pokemon that's gonna be able to destroy fighting types, which the Umbreon doesn't really want to face, so this was kind of the synergy there. And then my third pick was Diggersby. I was also thinking of going for Steelix, a Pokemon that my opponent now gonna have, but Steelix wasn't as like good for me in my opinion, so I went for Diggersby. Has more potential, and Diggersby has the access to a Hyper Beam, which we're gonna come for later. And yeah, this was my first 3. Very bulky team, very good core in general. They're all fitting together like nearly perfectly, and I was pretty happy with this. Next up, I went for Mantine. Why Mantine? Mantine has the same stats as Skarmory. Like they have literally exactly the same stats as far as I know. And Mantine has a lot of play in those draft leagues in general, because you can play it with like a lot of different like quick moves, no matter what it is. And you can basically see if your opponent has no electric type, you're good with it. And it has like a lot of like general, it's a very neutral Pokemon that has a lot of potential as like a lead or as a Safe Swap. So I went for Mantine next. Also very good together with Diggersby, like basically a perfect pairing with Diggersby, which I really wanted to have, and another answer for fighting types as well, which I wanted to have. Then we have the Dedenne. I basically only picked so that Ryan Swag doesn't get it. I actually rated this. But I also needed like an electric type and a fairy type, and I was thinking, okay, do I get a Charmander? And I think the round before someone picked my Charmander that I wanted to use, exactly Purple Kyogre picked the round prior Wigglytuff, and I wanted to have the Wigglytuff, but I'm fine with this, so I went for Dedenne. It's not my favorite Pokemon, to be honest, but it was fitting in terms of typings and what it could do for my team. I don't think I'm gonna bring it too often because I'm not really happy with it in general, but we will see. I'm definitely gonna bring it against Ryan because it's his favorite Pokemon, and of course I had to snack it before. Then my next pick is something that I think gonna have a lot of play in the future, gonna be the Ariados. Ariados is a very cool bulky Pokemon, a very good generalist, and like it has so much potential. You can play it with Lunch, you can play it with Megahorn. It has like a lot of different like combinations that you can play, and it's very bulky, has a good typing. And again, you have now a dark type and a poison type together, which are always like a perfect combination there. We have answers already against fire types with Diggersby and Mantine. Like Ariados kind of completes the core there, which I really enjoy and I really like. Then afterwards we have Primeape. Primeape is a Pokemon which I thought has always more potential than people think it has. And this thing is a very good fighting type that's kind of like behind like Machamp and whatever. Like Machamp is usually like the fighting type you want to go for, but Primeape is actually really cool. It has access also to close combat, has access to Night Slash, has access to the Ice Punch, has good coverage and is like a hard hitter, and I really wanted to have a fighting type. I think a counter user is always really good to have. And our last pick was something where I thought, okay, this might be cool to use. This is more for memes, but I kind of wanted a fire type to cover against Charm a little bit better. I already had the Ariados, but I have like 2 Charm weaknesses already in my team with Primeape and Umbreon. And I went for my Shadow Ho-Oh, and Shadow Ho-Oh gonna destroy everybody. Like Shadow Ho-Oh as a closer is really good. Talonflame already got picked by Ryan Swag, which you're gonna come to now. So I kind of needed to have some alternative, and yeah, this is gonna be my draft for now. And let's take a look at the matchup between me and Ryan. We see here now on PvPoke, I have put both teams together here. My team on the left side is on the right side. And we see here, he has Deoxys Defense, which is pretty decent. Dugong, which is a cool Pokemon. Talonflame, which is a strong Pokemon. You're going to take a look at this later. Greedent is a very good save swap in general. He has a very good save swap. Deoxys, perfect save swap. Dugong, perfect save swap. Greedent, perfect save swap. Deoxys is most likely the best Pokemon in the draft, to be honest. Like, I don't know why it didn't get banned. Skuntank you can use as a save swap. Like, he has a lot of potential there, which my team kind of lacks. I mean, Mantine can do that. Otherwise, it's like, Umbreon can do it, but like Counter and Charm is a little bit of a problem. It's like the thing which I don't think my team is the best, because I don't really have good save swaps, because everybody picked like 20 save swaps in the beginning and I didn't have any left, which was kind of annoying. But here's a Granbull in the as well, and Steelix. I think I'm gonna update this real quick to Shadow. It's way more likely that they go as a Shadow version. The rest should be fine. I'm just gonna update this real quick. PvPoke, perfect tool, honestly, like so good. And we can take a look real quick what our team would do against his team. And we're gonna see here, I actually have a tough time with my main Pokemon Umbreon here. Umbreon gonna destroy the Deoxys defense, but otherwise here what we'll use, it's kind of neutral here, it's kind of not the coolest here, and of course Granbull completely destroys me. So it's like always kind of neutral, like it's not that bad. Like 500 is like you draw, like here it's close to a draw. Here it's, I mean, they bait me I think and then go for the Brave Bird, so yeah, like usually I think if they wouldn't bait me or like I just no shit the first move, I would win this matchup as well. So it's not that bad. So Umbreon looks good. Cresselia looks good against the first two, and I was like, okay, I kind of want to have a better counter to Deoxys defense as well. I'm kind of scared of this. Ariados, while it looks like it's like a very good here, it has Megahorn. I shouldn't use Megahorn anyway. I think Lunch is better, but better worse for this matchup. Yeah, like it's not really the nicest here now. It's also way worse of a matchup, but like way more consistent, I guess. Ariados kind of has some problems, especially against the Talonflame. And you look at Talonflame, destroys destroys Umbreon, destroys Cresselia. Cresselia completely doesn't do anything really against it. Destroys Diggersby. Mantine, I don't really see a play for Mantine here. Yeah, like it looks like it wins here, but it's always like a little bit worse than it actually is, because it has Bubble Beam, and Bubble Beam, yeah, kind of doesn't really do a lot against opponents. And yeah, it's like always looks better on like those calcs than it actually is, and I didn't really expect them to run anything of this here. I actually expect him to run Superior, and yeah, otherwise Dedenne of course, but I think even against Dedenne you lose in the 2 shields or something with Dedenne. No, it's close. Actually, like you still won with Dedenne. Dedenne is good answer for this, but other than this, I mean, the Dugong a little bit, but I think you lose in 2 shields here at least, because you don't have the bulk of Dedenne. It wins at least against the first player, but loses against the rest of it, which is not that cool. Ariados it would beat, Primeape it would beat, and Ho-Oh is not a good matchup either for Ho-Oh. I think you lose in the 2 shields here. Yeah, you do. So basically I would expect him bringing Talonflame all the time, because I don't really see much play for Mantine, and Dedenne is not the best Pokemon. It's like very squishy. And same goes for Dugong. Dugong is very neutral against everything. There's nothing other than the Primate that really destroys it. So Dugong and Talonflame are so safe for him. So I expect him to run this basically all the time. Dugong's defense also looks pretty decent against Diggersby, Manta, and of course Manta I don't really gonna bring most likely. Primate and the Ho-Oh looks really good. He hits for Thunderbolt, but I expect him to run the Rock Slide because there's no reason for him to not do this. So this now completely destroys my entire team. Other than the Danny and yeah, even Primate would win now, which is funny, but like I don't think it would actually work like this. I think most likely this is with a boost or something. I don't actually know. Yeah, okay, yeah. If you don't get the boost, you lose, which does make sense. So this is not even the correct result. So like I have a tough matchup against his first 3 Pokemon, which is very bad. The rest I can kind of handle with my other Pokemon, like Ariados is fine, Diggersby is fine, Umbreon is fine. But yeah, gonna be a little bit of a tough one. But the thing here is, which I saw here, is something funny. And I, of course, always do something funny. We go for Hyper Beam here, and let's take a look on how good it's going to be with Hyper Beam. Deoxys defense, nothing really changes. You can hit it with Hyper Beam, you can hit this with Hyper Beam. All of a sudden, Talonflame is a win for you. And the rest you can always still destroy. Even the Steelix, you have still Fire Punch for this. You don't need anything here. There's also always Fire Punch superior. So Diggersby with Hyper Beam looks amazing for me. So what I'm most likely going to play is something like a Diggersby Seisorb, Umbreon in the deck, something like this. And I don't know, Ariados in the lead. You could use other stuff in the lead. Primate in the lead looks also pretty good. The thing is that I kind of need to be a little bit careful is the Granbull here. Actually, I'm kind of scared of this because it beats my core of Primate and Umbreon, of course, which I think is like 2 of my best Pokemon to bring against him. So I hope that I don't face this against me. But other than this, I should have a okay time with Hyper Beam Diggersby. Hyper Beam Diggersby looks very good. Otherwise, Primate looks also very good. But here's the thing. Here, this looked for me, when I go into the 2-shield, this is something that I realized during the battles. I actually already battled him. In the 2-shield, it says on PE Poke that you're going to be able to win this with a Primate, but it's only if they go for Brave Bird. If you just don't go for Brave Bird, you easily lose. And I have no idea why PE Poke did this. Like, wow, nobody would ever go for Brave Bird here in this scenario. So I don't know. But I think I have a good strategy with my Hyper Beam Diggersby. I think Cresselia still has a lot of play, just beating down those first 2, even though against Talonflame it's not the best. You still do some damage, and the pure bulk of Cresselia gonna help me a lot. And other than this, I would expect him to bring something like the Greedent a lot and the Skuntank a lot, just because Skuntank beats both of my first Pokemon. Like, this does make a lot of sense if you bring a Skuntank. But like my Diggersby looks so good, and yeah, you're gonna see the battles in like 4 hours from now. I hope you enjoy this. The next few team builder videos gonna be way shorter than this. I just showcased my draft and how all works, so it was a little bit longer. But thanks for watching. See you in the actual video and have a great rest of your day. See you in like 4 hours.